Thank you. Welcome to Pirates Pitch 2021. I'm Katia Pastorini, and I have the honors to serve as Provost and Executive Vice President at Seton Hall University. It is really my pleasure to spend this evening with you. I couldn't think about a better way of spending an evening talking about entrepreneurship, mentorship, and entrepreneurship education in general, and seeing it live in front of us. I want to thank the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship for organizing this great event, especially Dr. Susan Sherrick, our EMC, alumnus George Balekci, Dean Strasser, and the Stillwell community, and of course our judges who are here tonight. Your time, talent is appreciated, and also your sponsorship. Thank you so much. And then I want to thank our students entrepreneurs for putting their best show and pitch forward tonight. I know that you're not doing this for the funding, although I think $16,000 are a good price, but you're doing this for the experience and for the opportunity to be mentored by those who have done this before you. You are selected to participate tonight, so you're already all winners. And you are selected because you're innovating, you're daring, and you're putting your best ideas forward. There is a story that I found on Instagram, and I'm sorry I don't remember the attribution, and I changed it a little bit anyways, but I like to share it with you tonight. It goes like this. A teen is applying for summer jobs, and he's getting a little discouraged by the requirements for the open positions. So he goes to his mom and says, "Mom, all these jobs require experience, but how do I get experience?" Without hesitation, his mom says, "My dear, you get experience by failing." And the kid is a little puzzled, and then finally asks his mom, "But Mom, what happens if I fail?" And the mom, without blinking, says, "Well, my dear, then you gain experience." For our students tonight who will not raise the funds that they wish to raise, you're here and you're refining your ideas and you're gaining experience and you have not failed. When we think about entrepreneurship education in the academy, we often wonder, are we really making all the impact that we can make? How many students will, in fact, become entrepreneurs, and especially successful entrepreneurs? And sometimes the numbers are discouraging. Almost 90% of companies created in any given year will fail in the next 3 years. The yearly rates of new openings is not too far from the yearly rates of closing. And even of those companies that make it to round 2 funding, those that go beyond friends and family and personal saving, investing, and involve angel investors or venture capital funding, the rates of failure are still very high. And yet we persevere and we teach entrepreneurship. And the reason why we do this is because we're not teaching how to do a job, but how to build a mindset, how to tolerate ambiguity, uncertainty, and how to manage risk. In a study that I completed with some colleagues here in New Jersey, we actually found just that entrepreneurship education was not necessarily impacting our students' entrepreneurial intention, which is usually, the willingness of someone to start a new business, but it was impacting students' tolerance for, understanding of, and management of risk. And this is a tremendous achievement and a reason for us to continue to work with our students so that they become aware of the challenges, opportunities, risks, but they can continue to dream, armed with the skills and competence necessary for them to succeed when the right time comes. So thank you for inviting me to this great event and this learning opportunity. I look forward to spending this evening with you. And it is now my great pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Joyce Strasser, Dean of the Stillman School of Business, and a great leader, always crafting the vision forward for Seton Hall's business education. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Passerini, and good evening, everyone. I am Joyce Strasser, and I do have the privilege of serving as the Dean of the Stillman School of Business. And tonight, it is a thrill for me to welcome you to the 11th Annual Pirates Pitch Startup Competition, hosted by the Stillman School's Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Tonight's competition is the perfect realization of the Stillman School's mission goal of transforming concepts into business practice. It also reinforces the importance, especially in today's constantly evolving business world, of an entrepreneurial mindset. As Dr. Passerini said, we firmly believe that engaging the entrepreneurial process helps students develop skills and capabilities that are transferable to all types of organizations and career endeavors. Our judges will be recognized in just a few moments, but I would like to extend my personal gratitude to them, as well as to the members of our Center's Board of Advisors, who have been a tremendous source of support for our center and for this competition. Thanks also to the people who have worked behind the scenes to make this event possible, both my colleagues in Stillman and our partners across campus in university advancement, PR and marketing, and very importantly, information technology. Of course, a huge thank you to Professor Susan Sherrick, the founding director of our Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Susan's talent, energy, and passion have been the catalyst for the many successes of our center. So please help me virtually recognize and thank Susan. It is now my pleasure to introduce tonight's MC, George Balekji. George, a sports reporter and anchor who is based in Madison, Wisconsin, is a 2016 graduate of Seton Hall's College of Communication and the Arts. George held multiple internships during his years as a Pirate, including with Westward One Radio, the New York Giants, Fox Sports 1, and HBO Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. He juggled those responsibilities while serving as the Assistant Sports Director for WSOU, covering all Seton Hall athletics. Since graduating, George has covered a variety of noteworthy events, from the Rose Bowl to NCAA tournament runs to the Junior College Baseball World Series, as well as the Green Bay Packers' back-to-back NFC Championship game appearances. George tells us that he continues to this day to reflect back on lessons learned as a Pirate, while taking pride that he represents Seton Hall every time he goes on air. And George, we are proud to have you with us tonight, and I want to give you a special Stillman and Seton Hall welcome back home. Thank you, George.
Thank you very much, Dean Strasser, and thank you very much, Dr. Passerini, as well. Thank you so much for having me host this. As a proud graduate of the College of Communication and the Arts, I had a few classes in Jubilee Hall. I had a few classes in the same building as Stillman, so I know how special it is. I know it's not just a crown jewel as a business school in New Jersey, but a crown jewel as a business school, and of course, Seton Hall overall as a college across the country. I always am proud to be a Pirate, especially on nights like tonight. So welcome to Shark Tank. This is Seton Hall style, guys. Tonight, you, our virtual audience, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to participate in an entrepreneurial journey of a select group of Seton Hall students as they pursue the dream that many of us have to start a business. You will hear and see the best startup ideas from the Stillman School of Business, the College of Arts and Sciences, and the College of Communications and the Arts as well. The stakes are lofty, though. 4 student finalists are seeking more than $16,000 in startup funding to be awarded by a group of alumni judges, all successful entrepreneurs themselves. We will introduce them shortly. They are eagerly waiting to hear what the students have to pitch. Now, the road to the startup finals began in January when both undergraduate and graduate students throughout the university were invited to a series of skills workshops to help prepare them for the qualifying round. So a total of 20 student teams took the next step and submitted executive summaries of their startup concepts. And with assistance from alumni entrepreneurs, the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship narrowed that field to the 4 top entrepreneurs that you will meet tonight. Teams can have up to 6 Seton Hall students, but this year all 4 of our finalists are going at it alone as solopreneurs. Over the past month, these student entrepreneurs have met with faculty and alumni mentors to assist them. They also submitted 8-page business plans to the judges in advance of this evening's events. I'd like to recognize our sponsor, the law firm of Santomassimo Davis LLP. Big thanks to attorneys Chris Santomassimo and Tony Davis and their staff for providing legal assistance to our Pirates Pitch finalists. Now for a rundown of tonight's events. First, we are going to introduce our judges. Then you are going to hear from the 4 student entrepreneurs who will pitch their business ideas or existing startups, followed by questions from the judges themselves. Then the $500 Audience Choice Award. Everyone will have the opportunity to text a vote for a favorite finalist. And lastly, judges will provide the student entrepreneurs with feedback and advice and announce the amounts of startup seed funding awards. Now, I would like to introduce our judges. First, Brian Jakovich graduated from Stillman School of Business in 2009 and is the president, CEO, and owner of Fusion Health, the largest electronic health record vendor for state and county Department of Corrections and juvenile justice agencies in the United States. With a patient base of more than 300,000, headquartered in Woodbridge, New Jersey, Fusion employs more than 100 people throughout the nation. Brian was named an Ernst & Young Entrepreneur New Jersey in 2020, and NJ Biz recently named Fusion Health the 8th fastest growing private business in New Jersey. It's amazing. Brian started his first business at Seton Hall when he was a president of the Entrepreneurship Club. Today, he is a member of the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship's Advisory Board. Welcome, Brian, to our judge panel. Next is Abe Casbo, a 1994 graduate of the Stillman School, who also earned a Master of Public Administration degree in 1999 from the Hall. Abe is a founder and CEO of Verisoni Worldwide. He's the chair of the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship's Advisory Board as well. A gifted and multifaceted entrepreneur, Casbo is the executive producer and director of the award-winning documentary, The Arab Americans, distributed nationally by PBS. The first feature-length broadcast quality documenting the chronicling the rich yet silent history and contributions of Arab Americans to the American fabric of our culture. And as a first-generation American with both of my parents immigrating from Beirut, Lebanon, and someone that has cousins that are currently juniors in the Stillman School of Business that came here as international students from Saudi Arabia. Abe, thank you so much for making that. It means a lot to my family and all Seton Hall alums. Now, he served on the Walt Disney Company's Community Advisory Board for the live-action movie Aladdin. He founded OnlyOneToothbrush.com, a philanthropic effort that brought more than 250,000 toothbrushes to support the oral health of Syrian refugees to Germany, Canada, and the United States. Abe was inducted into the Seton Hall University Hall of Fame in 2008. Welcome, Abe. Next is Pravina Raghavan. Pravina received an MBA from the Stillman School in 2001. She's the executive vice president for the Division of Small Business and Development for Empire State Development. Her agency provides billions of dollars in economic assistance to small and large companies throughout assistance programs. Pravina is a member of the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship's Board of Advisors. Welcome, Pravina. Next but not least is Gabino Roche, a 1998 graduate of the Stillman School, a former McKinsey & Company firm member with a long career on Wall Street. As a founder of Sapphire and with publicized strategic relationships announced alongside 2 finance titans in JP Morgan Chase and BlackRock, Gabino's fintech startup is revolutionizing the financial service industry by applying their patented AI technology to digitize and speed pre-trade, while providing trading and post-trade benefits as well. Gabino is also a member of the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship's Board of Advisors. Last but not least, welcome, Gabino. Now, this evening, the judges will evaluate the finalists based on their ability to turn their innovation and creative ideas into viable business models. The judges will also access these student entrepreneurs on their ability to execute their business model and turn it into a sustainable business. Each finalist will present for 5 minutes, and then the judges will have 8 minutes to ask questions. The judges have a very tough job ahead of them this evening as they assume the role similar to that of sharks on Shark Tank. We all know that show. We have made available to the judges a total of $16,000, $16,000 again, to provide to the 4 finalists. The job of the judges is to decide how much they would like to award to each one. These funds are from the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship's Venture Fund Endowment. And as mentioned, each finalist will receive legal services from our sponsor, Santo Massimo Davis LLP, as part of their award. As you know, most college startup contests award first, second, and third place prizes. Here at Seton Hall University, however, our judges make varying awards directly to the student finalists because this provides a more powerful learning experience. It mimics the investor experience, entrepreneurs experience when they are raising money from angel investors and venture capitalists. Now, please join me in welcoming our finalist, Nicholas Marinelli, founder of the Extra Time Training. Nicholas is a senior pursuing a dual degree for finance and information technology, along with certificate market research, data analytics, and entrepreneurship and leadership. Nicholas is a member of the Gerald P. Buccino Center for Leadership Development. Nicholas, anytime that you're ready to begin your pitch, go ahead and good luck, my friend.
George, thank you so much. Let me just start sharing the screen here. So let me know when you see it. Audio is good so far? Audio is good.
Go ahead.
And you can see?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, awesome. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for that introduction. My name is Nicholas Marinelli, and I welcome you to the presentation of the Extra Time Training app. Ever since I was young, I had 2 dreams. One, to become a professional soccer player, and the other, an entrepreneur. I had played the sport every day from the age of 3, and I was fascinated by entrepreneurs in the business space. As I learned more about why people started businesses, I realized that they each had a reoccurring theme and an underlying reason, and that was to start a business because you were genuinely passionate about the industry or field you're trying to get into. And then that's when I realized I had been on that field for as long as I could walk, so why not couple the two? Throughout my 18 years of playing the sport, I had seen a thing or two, and I realized that there were a few problems. Many players like myself wanted to go pro, but we never made it onto the college field. Many players wanted to get better, but just didn't know exactly what their weaknesses were, how to train smarter, or how to train better. Parents would spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on their children each year for personal trainers just to do the same routine drills over and over again. And then lastly, I saw so many players quit simply because the feedback they were given by coaches just wasn't accurate, and they got discouraged and they quit. I started speaking with players and coaches to validate these problems during some customer discovery, and I found that as the pandemic hit, these problems only worsened for them. So the app I had in mind had much broader potential than I originally realized, as it could be a tool for players, parents, and coaches. So no longer will dreams be shattered, pockets emptied, and hearts left broken. With the creation of Extra Time, players will be able to download an app and access their training performance on a cutting-edge platform that accurately displays information needed for success. Extra Time will implement AI technology, machine learning algorithms, and computer vision technology to provide athletes with tactical, fundamental, and performance-based analysis after training with the Extra Time app. With Extra Time, players can become the athlete they have always wanted, whenever and wherever. So rather than wearing expensive, bulky equipment, a player will simply need an iPhone camera to record themselves perform the drills within the app's interface. So the athlete will need a ball, a space, and some tripods to successfully record and log their training sessions. Based on the drill selected, they could train at home or on the pitch, each providing them with a different set of drills that adapts to the space that they're performing in. So these variations will make training feel less like a chore and more like fun for players of all ages. The heart and soul of the Extra Time Training app is to become a company that is a goal-driven company to help you score yours. Athletes are seeking training that is far more superior than their competitors, and player data is a key component for them to get better. A computer that understands your data and understands you can give you the information that you need to transform the way you play. So that's why I decided our main target market, about 1 million high school athletes in the United States that are seeking college exposure, collegiate athletes taking their talents to the next level, and the casual soccer fan looking to to increase their performance after those peak performance years, eventually hitting the age ranges of 16 to 28. There are surprisingly a small number of direct competitors in this field. For example, we have Top Techers, which is for younger children just learning the sport, Dribble Up, which you need a $200 microchip infused soccer ball, and Home Court, which although it's not a direct soccer app, it's an AI-driven basketball app that has received over $17 million in funding over the past 2 years. Soccer players depend on scouting to get to the next level. Our scouting functionality allows high school and college players to send their data and their player cards and in-app performances to scouts. These scouts would then sign up and pay for our yearly subscription, which is roughly $250 a year. And this is a crucial tool, especially now when traveling to watch these players is at an all-time standstill. So if a scout is looking, for example, a technically skilled right winger with sprint speed in the upper 15 percentile, they may receive someone that's here on the screen. A coach can then host virtual practices, combine, and clinics so they can give players more feedback. Next up is our 3 price point options. 1, the walk-on, which is a free-to-use model, basic. It has ads and very limited support in terms of our AI, drills available, and competitions that you could compete in. The starter is our second, which is a $7.99 a month. You'll have full range of the library of drills, limited AI support, and access to year-round virtual competitions. Lastly, we have our professional model, which is our biggest and our best model yet. Coming in at $69.99 a year, these players will have the most statistical, advanced performance data analysis ready at their fingertips, using our machine learning and artificial intelligence. So as you get better, the app gets better and pushes you to the test. Then you'll be able to send over your data to the other scouts. Finally, Extra Time wants to become a community for soccer players far beyond the field and become a key name in the soccer world. We want to connect players using our social platform where players can add friends, show off their skills, and this has fared very well for other fitness apps in the industry. We will be hosting a number of virtual competitions using geo-targeting and location tracking so players could become the hometown hero and challenge others in their area.
Nick,
we also want to create
seconds. You have 30 seconds.
Perfect. We want to create apparel, sponsor athletes, and equipment. So in conclusion, the Extra Time training app gives players the ability to feel confident on the ball, save parents money with training, and give coaches the insight on their players. The app creates personal attachment and a sense of community and is truly something soccer players have never had before. So it is finally time to unlock your true soccer potential. Don't let your opponent score before you do. Thank you all.
Nick, great job. Judges, do you have any questions? And a reminder, you have an 8-minute time limit yourselves.
Sorry, George, can you hear me?
You all sound great. I see you.
Awesome.
And I can...
Nicholas, great job, great presentation. Love the idea. As a fellow techie, first thing that comes to mind is definitely the AI component of it, and your kind of concept and strategy to actually develop this app. Have you put much thought through that?
Yeah. So this is, like you mentioned, it's all artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer vision technology. So a lot of the bulk actually comes through the camera of an iPhone. I mentioned iPhone because and not Android, because iPhone actually has this capability of machine learning and computer vision. So you set up your phone, it'll watch you, it'll do a lot of the artificial intelligence and on the back end algorithms. I also eventually want to create a team that could really work on that. So utilizing Amazon AWS services to host our platform with the artificial intelligence and machine learning.
So with regards to the AI though, like who's actually developing that? What type of algorithms are you developing? Is that something that's kind of canned out of a framework, or is that something you're going to have to develop?
Cut out at the end there, but yeah, this is something that I'll have to create a team with, hopefully using the funds achieved here and in future competitions that I'll apply to. So that's an ongoing idea that we'll have to investigate further.
Got it. And then I guess this might be ahead of the in addition to that question, but have you actually developed any statement of works, like look for programming partners to actually develop the application, or you're not there yet?
Yeah. So actually, I've reached out to a number of people within the industry. I utilize contacts that I've made from other prior relationships and networking. with people from, I don't want to name the companies, but there are a few people from companies that have helped me, kind of walked me through of how like neural networks work and all these wireframes work and everything like that. So I do have a team that is, I guess, ready to develop once I give them the model.
Sure, but you don't actually have the costs associated with that yet.
Correct.
Got it. And then just a follow-up question to that, how many scouts are there in the country, and how are you going to market to those scouts?
Yeah, so scouting data I don't have, but I'll give you soccer athletes in the high school area. So in the 5 states that are near us in New Jersey, so New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Massachusetts, there's over 160,000 high school soccer athletes, and that's not including college. So those 160,000 students make up almost 5,000 high schools. So you could figure if there's 1-2 coaches per school, we're looking at anywhere between 5,000 to 10,000 high school coaches alone. So then if we market first to those high school students and those high school coaches, then they can get in contact with the scouts elsewhere.
Got it. And then just my last question before I turn it over to Abe, the cash flow model you're working with regards to what they're going to pay, is that a monthly recurring, or are you looking for like a one-time annual for generating revenue?
Yeah, so we're looking at that $7.99 a month. Actually, personally, I believe the first year that we have it, a lot is going to be using that free model, that walk-on model. So
like premium.
Correct. Yeah. So I figured that the revenue will actually come in using advertisements, targeted advertisements within the soccer industry. And then furthermore, so first year, I think about 2,000 users will be on the walk-on model, which is that free to use model. And then about 900 in the starter and the models that you choose to pay.
Awesome. No, I appreciate the answers to my questions. And, I know I have a friend who actually works with a recruiting type company that, while it's not in line with what you're doing, it is kind of, they get the high school and college kids on board and they market them, make the videos, the whole thing. So I know it's a model that works. And you're definitely taking it to level 2.0. So great job tonight. And Abe, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Hey, Nicholas, I know you identified who your target markets, right? Players, coaches, and scouts. But have you thought about how you're going to reach them? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So I've been playing soccer for 18, 19 years now. So over the summer, I did some customer discovery, spoke to the organizations that I used to be a part of. I still am coaching for them as well. So they also all mentioned that, hey, once you create this, if you want to come back, start using us as your test model, and then from there, expand it even further. So at the first year, I want to do it somewhat like that. So go out, be a little bit more hands-on with them, using them as our test model, and then from there on, reach it broader. So there was one slide where I had to quickly go through towards the end, and it was that whole thing of using sponsorships. So Instagram, YouTube, even TikTok now, getting those soccer niche platforms in there and using them as a word of mouth. Something else that I really want to do is get this going by 2022. Why 2022? Because the World Cup is happening. This is the first time that the World Cup is happening in December. So it gives me a little bit more leeway. What happens with companies? World Cup mania. Everyone all of a sudden becomes a soccer fan. So the number of users, I presume, will increase, and the word of mouth will spread from there. So I think that if this is a perfect time to come to market right now, right before a World Cup happening. The U.S. men's team is starting to finally reach the potential that everyone wants them to get to. The women's team has been there for so long, so we believe that if we target it to women as well, the girls' soccer industry is also going to be doing well.
Right, and you're local in New Jersey, right?
Correct.
Okay, so have you thought about, I mean, it's an extremely competitive sport, obviously, and the entertainment value of these leagues, right? The MLS, for example, could back you. Have you thought about that? Especially because on the men's soccer side, I mean, if you think about it in the U.S., men's soccer is actually struggling relative to women's soccer, right? And if this thing's going to improve performance, You know, you could have a conversation with somebody at the MLS, or have you thought about that and how you might partner with those guys, because they may have some funds. There may be a venture fund sitting there somewhere for you.
Yeah, so again, that was on that slide. So
Okay.
I want to do a lot of the ID clinics. So I remember back when I was in high school, there were these huge combines where all these coaches would be at, watching all these athletes. So if we have like our banners out there reaching these athletes, and then again the academy teams for those USLs, the under like MLS, the MLS teams, etc. They have all these these younger teams that I definitely love to branch out and reach out to.
Okay.
So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, great. I'm good. Thank you. Great
Thank
job.
you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Judges, any more questions for Nicholas?
It's Pravina. I'll go in there since we have 30 seconds left. I always like to ask the last question. How did you come up with your price points, out of curiosity, the $7.99 and et cetera?
Yeah, so I went into Top Techers. I looked at their pricing model. I went into the Home Court app, which has fared very well for the basketball, and it's basically pretty much competitively on the same price point models as both of those. So it's right there with both of them.
Great. I'll
Thank
turn
you.
it back to you, George.
I actually have a question about the pricing. I'm sorry, Pravina, did you have a follow-up?
I'm done. I'm good.
So I noticed that, and I can't remember, but that second package, that $7.99 a month, actually annually is more than your pro package.
Yep.
Why is that?
So if we get people to upfront pay for the $69.99, that's great. We get that $70 right there. Whereas if we're getting a reoccurring, okay, I'm not sure yet, eventually they'll get that 1 year. So then we get the revenue from them originally for the first couple of months, and then followed by a large influx of their $70 investment.
And just one other quick thing, I don't know how much time we got, but have you thought about the aggregate data that you could capture and then resell into whom? Because not just individual player data, aggregate data is a big time business, obviously, across industries. Have you thought about that? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, real quick, I'll jump into that. So there are a few companies that specialize purposely in that, what you just mentioned. But again, they're more on like the professional level, the college with a lot of money and things like that. So this is now targeting the younger demographic. So there are companies that specialize in that, and I definitely love to help them out with that on a grassroots level, because this actually goes with UEFA and FIFA's innovation hub, that they want to increase the young, youthful grassroots program. So I agree with you there that the player data, again, is just so increasingly important right now.
All right, Nicholas, great job, Abe. I have to blow the final whistle on you. Great use of your extra time, though. Nicholas, great job on your presentation. Judges, great questions. We now bring us to our next finalist. Please join me in welcoming Annabella Robb. She's the founder of Annabella Cures, a custom press-on nail business that Annabella launched in September. Our finalist is a junior majoring in graphic design and minoring in art history. Good luck, Annabella. Anytime that you are ready, you can start. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. My audio is good, right?
Yep, you sound great.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna start. Okay, so what was the luxury taken away from you during the COVID-19 pandemic? Well, many women went without their weekly visit to the nail salon. As women turned to DIY options, they grew frustrated with regular press-on nails and found it really difficult to paint their own. During quarantine, I was practicing nail art on my best friend like crazy. She told me to start up an Instagram to showcase my designs. So I did, and my designs were such a hit that I received tons of DMs asking if I take in-person clients. Because of the pandemic, it's not ideal to see people in person, so I knew I had a lucrative opportunity that's a win-win situation for both myself and clients. So now there's this mounting concern over COVID-19 in salons. Women are really fearful of potential exposure to COVID, so they're simply not going. And store-bought press-on nails are just seen as really tacky. Lastly, women are seeking a luxury experience that they just can't afford. So I knew I needed to come up with a solution. This solution had to be contactless, so there's no risk of COVID-19. I had to offer something higher quality than your usual press-on nails, and I personally believe that customers deserve a much fairer price than they get at salons. We're Annabella Cures, and we offer contactless confidence. My name is Annabella Robb, and I launched Annabella Cures in September of 2020. We offer hand-painted custom press-on nails with a luxury experience at affordable prices. Our sizes are tailored exactly to your fingers, and you receive a high-quality application kit to ensure a long-lasting manicure that typically lasts up to 10 days. You can see here just a few examples from my portfolio. I pride myself on the fact that these are all hand-painted, no stickers, no tracing or airbrushing, just a very small paintbrush and an eye for detail. We even offer characters and portraits, both of which you couldn't even get at a salon. Right now, we're selling to women aged 15 to 22 in rural areas who have scarce access to salons. We view them as our early adopters. After receiving funding, we will transition to a new target audience, women aged 22 to 30 years old with a steady income, particularly those with a large social media following. After acquiring the customer on social media, they show me their desired shape and length and design that they would like, and we settle up with payment. Your sizing kit is shipped out, then your order is made and shipped within 7 to 10 days. I reach out to customers after 2 weeks for any feedback. Our cost per unit is $2.99 for first-time customers, but repeat customers' cost per unit is only $1.88. Sets range anywhere from $18 to $60 in price, and right now our profit margin is 33% based off an $18 sale and an applied labor cost of $9 per set. We have currently sold $1,100 worth of nails, and we are proud to be past the point of breaking even. We seem to have most of our competitors beat due to our low cost and customizations. Static nails and Kiss press-on nails aren't luxurious and don't tailor to a customer's unique sizes. Although Alicia the Nail Doctor offers hand-painted designs and precise sizes, her prices are upwards of $200. In comparison to these competitors, customers are attracted to my low price point, perfect sizes, and hand-painted designs. Color Street Nails is also one of our competitors. They won the EY Entrepreneur of the Year Award in 2020. Investors are realizing the potential a unique nail company truly has. If you're unfamiliar with the industry, nails can seem really trivial, but I want to emphasize that nails are viewed as a necessity for most women, and manicured hands are even required for certain careers. My name is Annabella Robb. I have specialty in graphic design, content creation, and marketing. Victor Ritchie is a serial entrepreneur who acts as my growth advisor, and Luke James Tyler serves as my financial advisor. Sally Beauty Supply has recently contacted me to create a demonstration video with one of my top selling designs, rose quartz nails. And in terms of product development, I'm looking to create a subscription box which is targeted toward loyal and returning customers. On a poll conducted on my Instagram page, 70% of customers would be interested in this subscription service. We're also looking to update our gift card system and to manufacture cuticle oils. For now, I'm all in as a solo team until we can expand. To scale, we will implement 3 things: premium products, better equipment, and standardized production processes. Here's a brief breakdown of how I'll handle funds from this event. You can see the majority of funds will go towards supplemental staff. This is our most strategic move for rapidly scaling. And when you invest in me, you're assured the funds are going to a fully functioning business, not just a pipe dream. We have 5 major milestones we want to hit, but I do want to emphasize that we're mainly aiming toward a 1-hour production time as our biggest milestone. This is the most critical milestone we can achieve after receiving funding, as it will single-handedly increase our profit margin. So thank you, and check out my designs on Instagram at Annabella Cures, and I'm so excited for you to join me in my journey in innovating the nail industry. Okay.
Annabella, great job with that presentation.
Thank you.
Judge, I now turn it to you. You have 8 minutes to ask questions. The time is yours.
I'm going to go do ladies first. So Annabella, great job. Quick question. You keep saying it takes about an hour. Can you tell me what goes in that hour? Like, what's your cost, or how many can you output in an hour to make these set of nails, or is that just one set? So that show you my terrible nails.
So that would be one set. So the basic color set with no designs, no frills to it takes 40 minutes, which is where I got that profit margin based off of. So for anything with designs, it takes about an hour and 15, an hour 20. Obviously, portraits go up a little bit, an hour 40. So it does depend on the set, but absolute minimum amount of time is about 40, 45 minutes. So in that time, for every set, I will get out the size nails, I'll cut them, I shape them, I will pull out a ruler with millimeters in it to make sure a customer gets what they're wanting. And then I do my designs all with gel products, and I also package. So making designs and even the packaging would go in that 45 minutes for a very simple set.
So question, so just following up on that, so it takes you about an hour to do, and I know it varies. Do you need to, and your price point is $9, so?
So the minimum sale is $18.
Got it.
So yeah, I'm sorry. So that $9 is what I pay myself for the 45 minutes, but the minimum set is $18, and the customer always pays for shipping, which is a flat $4 as well.
Got it. And then, do you have to be a certified nail technician to be able to sell these online or to do anything?
You don't. So there's no nail tech license required because it's not in-person clients. So the nail tech license, which I do want to pursue after I graduate, is for in-person clients just because of the chemicals, and it's a lot more hazardous.
And on that question, do you need to have special ventilation or anything while you're doing this because of the gel product? And I have used it before.
I don't. That would be more for acrylic systems. And I'm working only in gel, so I don't need that right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to let Gabe Gabino ask his questions next.
Annabelle, I have to say I'm very impressed with your presentation. I saw your video before. You've actually upped your game quite a bit, so just a little feedback there. But so phenomenal that you've actually gone out to market. You've done $1,100 in revenue already. So this is a big, I think, point that people will learn that, you actually have to do something and get some results. So we see traction. My biggest concerns, I think Pravina got some of the cost metrics out, but it's about scalability in my perspective, right? If you're going to have investors come in and they want to see a return on their money, it's all you. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's only you right now. So part of this I'm interested in hearing is a couple of things. One, how do you make this a repeatable process? Meaning, if you bring someone under, you have some cash to bring someone in, how are you going to bring them in and teach them a process that this is repeatable for an hour, hour 15? Two, I'd like to hear your thoughts on how you're going to maybe cookie cutter some of this, because it sounds like everything is bespoke, a custom made press-on nail that people are requesting. If you're going to scale this in a manner that makes it much more profitable, if you don't have some sets already to go, then it's all this labor that's very intensive. So maybe you can address those two questions for me.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of scalability, this is a question that I've been getting a lot, and I just like to point to other companies that are really successful with customizations. Victor Ritchie, who's my advisor, he invests in the sneaker company that started off on the same path as I did, and they were able to hire 11 super talented artists, and they're still able to keep up with all these cool customizations for sneakers. And in terms of hiring the actual employees, currently there's 385 undergraduates enrolled in the digital art and interactive media track at Seton Hall. I'm sure they would love to come on board with a Seton Hall owned entrepreneur and start a job either part-time or post-graduation. So I'm not scared about a lack of artists. And other than that, it's kind of just training them. Obviously, I'm sure that there's going to be skilled painters. It's just going to have to be literally practicing on a very small canvas, which isn't super difficult to learn. I consider myself a good teacher. And in terms of scalability and how it's at a very personal level right now, I haven't currently looked into the logistics of this with my team right now, but I would almost like to have how a company has a 24-hour live chat, set up a feature like that on my future Shopify or my Instagram, where I can hire someone that is literally on board to still give you that personal interaction. So although I am looking to scale, I don't want to take that away from my company, because customers love that. They love talking to me. They love being able to just throw out ideas. I don't want to get to the point where it's just submitting a form ever. I'm not interested in that, if that makes sense.
No, I got you. But then it's all about your personality, and that personalization is hard to scale. It's just the truth of the matter. Because if you're looking at the gross profit margins, that's going to be hard to do. The other thing, just again, because the reason why I asked you about who you're going to bring on, there's only so much of a premium of $9 an hour that you can pay other people to come on. So if we're going to start on this endeavor to create maybe a trend, you might want to consider equity. Meaning, because unless people feel that they own something in this, $9 an hour is not going to be enough to motivate them to stay. And that was really where I was driving at this question, is because you need to kind of think about how you share. And I'm not saying 50%, but it's not 1%, right? And that person's got to be as passionate if they're going to take up some of the time to answer some of these requests. So do you have thoughts on that? And it's okay if it's not now, but if we're investing in you, we need to know the longevity, because unless we have an insurance policy on you and you're gone, then this whole plan is out, right? So
yeah. I haven't currently talked about that with my team yet, just because we're obviously not at that level. But on a personal note, that is something I would definitely be interested in pursuing. I'm completely open to it. I am open to changing, the name Annabella Cures once we are able to scale a little bit more. I would definitely be interested in bringing someone on board. I just don't have the logistics of that right now settled.
Annabelle, can I just follow up with one question? So how are you going to do quality control? Because if you have different digital, I know you'll have different people. How are you going to ensure that the nails look like the way you do it? Because people are buying your Instagram, your nails, right? They're not buying nails by Pravina.
Okay, so in terms of that, I know that I definitely have to train them very well, and to a certain degree, so many of these orders are just flat out characters or flat out portraits. So to a degree, it's almost just being able to skillfully copy kind of a certain design. So I do need to ensure that these people that I'll be bringing on are able to kind of cut and paste a character onto it. And in terms of designs that are more free-flowing, I would be comfortable taking those on, because that I know that I'll be able to give my signature style to it. So I do hope that answers your question.
Yep. And then one question before I let Brian and Abe loose. Is there any part of this that can be automated to cut down the 45 minutes? Like, is there something that can help get more what I call what we were talking about, scalability? Is there a machine that could cut it down, or something that you could do with 3D printing, or any of those other things that are thinking?
So I've talked about this with my advisor. I'm not interested at all in doing anything with machines, any type of airbrushing, because women that are seeking these nails, they don't want that. They want to say to their friends, these were hand painted. So I am looking at different options though for bulk ordering my current nails. So right now I'm just ordering extra long clear nails, and I cut and shape them all on my own. Whereas once I have funding, I do want to invest more in tons more of base colors and different shapes and lengths of the nails. So just from that alone, I could cut down about probably 20 minutes per order. And I just haven't done that yet, simply because of lack of funding.
That's it from me. Thank you.
Abe, if you have a question, you have enough time for one more.
Yeah, I have a quick question. A great presentation, Annabella. In terms of where are you sourcing your raw materials from, or where you're getting these nails from? And if they're coming from China, or they're coming from the United States, and how do you ensure that if there's an event like COVID or taxes or whatever, how do you ensure that supply chain isn't interrupted?
So right now I'm currently shopping off of Amazon Prime. Again, I don't have my nail tech license, so I'm not able to go to licensed shops to get my products there, which is another reason I'm looking to get my license, because you can eventually get higher quality products. So right now I am relying on Amazon Prime. I kind of think that's as good as it would get. I would rather rely on Amazon Prime as opposed to relying on a storefront and, snow or the store goes out of business. So I'm comfortable right now with Amazon Prime.
And does that work for you from a price perspective?
It does. I'm able to order a lot of items in bulk. I know a lot of self-taught nail techs even get their items on Amazon Prime. I've done the cost breakdown, and each file and wooden stick ends up being 10 cents per order or something really cheap, where I don't really think it could even get that much cheaper if I were to go anywhere else.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
One last quick, how much is it for you to get your license? So just kind of curious about that leap for
So
you.
that would, for the state of New Jersey, it's about $1,000. It does depend on the state. So I would either be looking at New Jersey or a New York state license. And it would be 3 months full-time school or 9 months part-time. It's about $1,000.
Okay, and then after you can get access to better quality and the price point's going to be about the same what you're doing with Amazon Prime?
I would probably continue with Amazon Prime. There are a few things that I would rather get in person. It's nice to even shop around in person and then still go and order the same products on Prime. At least you can go in the store. You literally can't enter these stores without a license. So I can't even shop comparatively right now in person.
Got it. Okay, we're good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Annabella, great job on that presentation. You did fantastic. So now time for our third, David Fairley. As David is a senior focused on earning a degree in business administration and business law. He's operated his own disc jockey business for 6 years and expanded into other event production since his internship with Times Square Alliance. David, whenever you are ready, you can start your pitch. The time is yours, sir.
This thing is on, right, everyone?
I see you. I hear you too. You look great.
Fantastic. So, hello, everyone. My name is David Fairley. I am a senior here at Seton Hall University, and I'm here to talk about Action Hearth, our games, your reality. It was April of 2016 that the first consumer headset was created, the HTC Vive. And since then, multiple other companies have come into the works creating AR and VR, or augmented reality and virtual reality products for consumers. But there was one major problem. They are continually too expensive. No matter who you are, it is expensive by space and it is expensive by price. Well, we at Action Hearth have found a way to make it more accessible and affordable no matter who you are with 2 simple steps. And one of them is this beautiful machine right here, the Catwalk VR. It is a special machine that allows you to crawl, walk, run in place, allowing us to scale down the second problem, real estate overhead. So instead of having spaces about 5,000 square feet and more, we're able to scale down entertainment centers for virtual reality for people to access it affordably to 2,000 square feet or less. And this is the product that we'll be using, which is the Catwalk Mini, which allows us more people in that space. Now, we have 4 major competitors in the state of New Jersey, but all of them have that similar problem. They all use large space. They all use something called room scale VR, which is detrimental if people walk into walls or slam their fingers and break appendages because they can't see what their boundaries are unless they have certain options to see it in game, which usually they don't because it interferes with entertainment. Now, in our market, we see a fledgling industry started in 2016, grow 44.1% compounded every year, and it will be until 2027, according to Springboard VR, the prominent cloud-based arcade company for virtual reality. It's a market cap of 2020 is $15.8 billion, 67% survivability rate for industry, for companies that start in VR arcades. There are some caveats, however, which I will explain later, and a Google Trends score of 72 out of 100 in the state of New Jersey alone, which means that it is an actively searched term. Our target market right now in the beginning of year 1 is actually the whole metropolitan area of New York City, 2.3 million people. However, our target market is 1.5 million people in the tri-state area, ages 16 to 44, who enjoy virtual reality for either B2B or business to consumer, for entertainment or for business use. We will be using a marketing strategy I like to call the tri-state trinity, where we will use Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok to be able to functionally serve information and tell our consumers and potential consumers what we do. I have seen companies over the course of the past 2 years use TikTok successfully to talk to their local setting before the app use the algorithm to go internationally. YouTube is a fantastic source for community outreach, and Instagram is great for showing what your business does. We have a twofold opening strategy. The first year alone, we'll be acting as a leasing company where we will lease out 2 units for market testing, brand awareness, and for raising capital. And to get those 2 units and the necessary computers, we are looking for $10,000 total for that prototyping phase. $2,300 already put towards that from my own. Now, our second prong is our flagship open strategy, where our flagship stores, our arcades, will be charging $45 an hour to use the equipment, but it will also include a subscription model, which will allow us to give users $30 a month for their first hour free, as well as 30% off each subsequent hour. We call it 30/30. In addition, we will continue to lease out and bring the equipment to you for your business or team building opportunities or for pop-up shops. And we also have other additional revenue sources that we have found through our industry from talking to industry professionals. Now, our roadmap is to secure the $10,000 potentially tonight, prototype the market for year 1, secure the real estate launch, negotiate sponsorship contracts, because we want to help grow the industry and use the new technologies that are being made for it to help the new companies and the companies that have already been established see how the market is working and expand. We're looking at some really nice revenue growth over the course of the first 3 years. Additionally, we break even 10 months out of the first year, which is fantastic. Now, myself, I'm a solopreneur. This is all me, but I wouldn't be here without my experience and the experience of others that have helped me get here. I've owned my own proprietorship for 6 years doing events, production, and DJing. I've worked for Times Square for the New Year's, Taste of Times Square, and other events, as well as created manual algorithms to help predict pedestrian flow and other projects. I have worked as an electrician for 2 years through Local 3, thanks to my father, and I have been the technical operations chairman for events, audio production, and other for the Student Activities Board for Seton Hall. Now, I want to end off my pitch.
You're closing in on your time.
Fantastic. I want to end my pitch with this quote from one of the greatest games that have ever been made, according to community consensus, from one of the most innovative companies in the space, Valve. The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. Thank you.
David, great timing. Sorry to interrupt you that way. You did great. Very interesting. I feel like I was watching Ready Player One all over again with that example. Very cool. Judges, the time is now yours. Reminder, you have 8 minutes. I can't wait to hear your questions.
Gentleman first.
No. All right, I'll go. Thank you. So, David, great job. Question for you. You mentioned TikTok, right? How much does your system cost?
For which part? The flagship open for year 2 and 3, or the initial prototyping?
How do you get into the client? What are you selling to get into the client?
So we're planning on opening pop-up shops in the state, New Jersey and New York City through Times Square from my contact of manager Damian Santucci,
Right.
who's the operations manager of Times Square, as well as we've been in contact with a couple malls in the city of New Jersey, Short Hills Mall, as well as the Rockaway Town Square Mall, to be able to set up booths, kiosks, and otherwise with the slide mill technology, which is the catwalk, to be able to publicly allow users to pay or to test out the equipment so we can get the data necessary to see if there truly is this fantastic market, which has already been proven from the 4 other competitors that have opened since 2016 in New Jersey and New York alone.
So my question is, are your buyers on TikTok? Are people who are using the system on TikTok, or are they users? So there's a difference between buyers and users.
So it is yes and no.
Okay.
I have been marketing this through TikTok for the past few months, ever since I got through the finals through many of the communities that I've been a part of and started in TikTok since 2019. We have hit about 2.5 million people, engagements for people interested, likes, comments, and follows for this product, not necessarily for my account, but for the accounts that were also helping me figure out whether or not people want to do this. And it shows that people do. TikTok, especially, the algorithm for new accounts usually expresses local municipalities first before it expands nationally and internationally, from what I've seen over the course of the past 2 years of using the application. And with that in mind, the community aspects of TikTok allowed many other startups focusing on TikTok, for example, Party Bear and Gamers Heaven in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania.
David, I got it. You answered my question. And I don't mean to cut you off, but I want the other judges to ask you questions so you could succeed. So I'm good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Brian, you don't have any sound. You're muted, Brian.
There we go. Sorry about that. Hey, David. So a couple quick questions. And you didn't necessarily touch on it here, but it might be just be semantics. But in your initial video, you kind of talked about actually purchasing the property versus renting it. I don't know if that was intentional or if that was something that's actually part of your business plan.
For the consumers to purchase it or for me to purchase it?
No, so for the actual physical location where you would run this operation out of, you talked in your video about purchasing the property. Obviously, there's a huge cost associated to that. Was that actually intentional or just something?
No, that was semantics. So years 2 and 3 will be leasing the property. It will not be purchasing it outright. We're looking at a potential property in Summit right now. It's $750,000 to purchase, but it's $43,000 to lease per year.
Gotcha. And then, when the catwalks are definitely interesting. And I'm just assuming that your competitors do not have these catwalks from the basis of my understanding. But are the catwalks proprietary to your organization, or are they actually something that's manufactured today? And if they are manufactured today, are they used for the same thing, or are they used for some other purpose?
So they are not proprietary to my organization. Catwalk VR was started in China back in 2018 against Virtual Somni, which is an American company. Okay. They are used for both medical use as well as arcade use. So there are some places out in California through their American dealer, Knox Labs. He uses them for physical therapy and everything else for people who have mental disability or physical disabilities such as Alzheimer's or sports injuries. So the reason why the competitors don't have them is because the initial costs for them are high, which is why we're doing the first phase as a prototype and financing them out over the course of 2 years, because the prototype allows us to cover the cost of finally purchasing them over the course of the first 2 years.
Got it. And then I just want to also go on the record, your flag behind you is awesome. Go Pirates. I love it. And then lastly, I mean, and this might be a larger conversation down the road, but you talk a lot about your net revenues, but you don't necessarily highlight a lot of the costs. So what are your primary costs aside from rent? I mean, so somebody walks in and pays X dollars for an experience. How many experiences can you possibly hold in a location? And what are the costs per experience? And then again, the other overhead, employees, rent, things like that.
That's a fantastic question. Hours per location, I'll start here, are different depending on where I go. For example, if I wanted to open in Rockaway Town Square, or if I wanted to open in Summit, which is the location I'm looking at. It depends on the mall, or it depends on me. For the Summit location that I'm looking at, peak hours are about 20-something on average over the course of the weekend. Break even for the whole month is $30.58 per hour for 8 units in the location, as well as Springboard VR, which is the arcade company we'll be using, which is cloud-based. So we won't need any servers to run through, as well as POS is directly handled through them through Square without any additional cost to Springboard. Our costs are 8 cents per hour for commercial use of the games, as well as we can contact the companies for commercial licensing for permanent licenses to use them. For the POS, it's $60 per month. It's 30% Sorry, it's 0.30% per transaction through Square. I believe I hit all of that equipment-wise. Computers are definitely something that we really need to run this equipment. We're going through Main Gear, which is a computer company out of New Jersey. Each unit costs about $1,400 a pop. That includes the newer hardware and enough to get one headset per station running. Headsets cost $650 without the base stations, which are not necessary for the units if we get the Catwalk VRs, which is what we're planning for.
Got it. No, and not to be like a knock on this at all, because frankly, it's how I started, where I leveraged another company's platform, GE Healthcare, and built a business on top of their technologies. That seems like what you're doing here is where a lot of the pieces exist, and really what you're doing is like piecing it all together to give the experience to the end user, right?
Yes.
Awesome. No, great. That's all my questions, and Pravina, I'll shoot over to you.
Let Gabina go first. I felt bad the last time.
No, it's all good. Just real quick, I know you said you got other companies that you're going to be using their software for the gaming piece. Have you trialed these already? I mean, do you know what the cost is, what the subscription? They're not just going to necessarily lend it, right? So there's a cost in using it, and there's also the client experience getting bored with not enough variation and reasons to come back to get to your break even every month. So I'm kind of curious how you thought about that component.
So that's also a really good question. I've been leveraging, if you saw the Reddit icon on my second to last slide, I've been asking a couple of the communities I've been a part of for a few years. They have all said that one big thing for no matter what age for an arcade like this or an entertainment complex like this is the nostalgia factor and just having the inspiration to want to come back. That's the first thing, being able to make your own reality yours in VR. The second thing is that with Springboard VR, I have been using that technology. It's a cloud-based technology. I have an HTC Vive from 2016 that I use regularly, and I've been in contact with Gabrielle, I forget her last name, my apologies, from their support staff with questions about it over the past few months. And she's been very helpful with helping me figure out Square pricing for POS, as well as the licensing. Speaking back to the community and for games, all the games that Springboard has in their catalog that's been commercially licensed to them by developers is actually the majority of all VR games that are family friendly and rated M on the Steam Cafe platform, which is the other one we were looking at. And they are available day one. Now, with the community aspect to that is that there are going to be some games that I am going to gate just so I can keep the experiences fresh over the course of year 2 and year 3 by introducing launch nights and special events where only the people who have the subscription, there we are again, the $30 a month that gives them the benefits, they get in those events for free, while people who only do walk-ins will have to pay per ticket. So there's a lot of other things I'm looking at in regards to that, but it's just pacing the launches of the games and making sure that we're up to date with the developers.
Yeah, makes sense. Pravina, you and we'll wrap up. Sorry.
All right. I have one question because I know George is going to come and tell me my time is up.
Go ahead.
So can you tell us why the name, what's significance, Action Hearth, out of curiosity?
Well, that's a fantastic question. This was a hard decision. It took me a while to do. If Gambino remembers last time for Pirates Pitch semifinals, Blackjack Productions was my VR entertainment company that I was trying to pitch. Ever since then, I've been trying to figure out what in VR really makes sense right now. And even though the pandemic happened and people did their events, they couldn't do them anymore in person, VR was still not easily accessible for individuals to take part in. For example, the NBA selling tickets to every game courtside in VR or concerts in VR. So talking to my friends in the cosplay community on TikTok, as well as the gaming community and the regular community that I'm a part of, they've all helped me figure out that Action Hearth was the name to go for. Action for virtual reality and Hearth for that role play element that really helps bring in those people who have been nostalgic for the product for virtual reality ever since its first imaginative invention back in the 80s and 90s with the advent of many of the sci-fi that we see remade today.
That's great. All right, that's awesome. And my final question, and then I'll give it back to George. How well adopted is Catwalk? Like, is it something that it's in the VR community, people know about it, or are you being the first kind of to push it out from a healthcare use to a VR use?
That's a fantastic question. So originally the first consumer slide mill that was created was the Virtuix Omni, which I actually spoke about before. In 2017, Mark Cuban took over a majority investment of that technology, but due to many costs, mostly because they wanted to keep it American manufactured, they weren't able to establish it, as well as they wanted to make it primary console, which means that you don't need a PC, it's all built into that. Because of that, those units were too expensive, $10,000 per unit. Catwalk came in about a few months later with their first unit, which is the Catwalk, which was the first unit you saw before I switched over to Mini, for $5,000, which was half the price. And ever since then, with their other two units, the Catwalk Mini and the Catwalk C, more and more people I've seen over the course of the pandemic and over the course of the past 2 years have started streaming on Twitch, on YouTube, Facebook Gaming, and before it went out, Mixer. 2 cameras showing them use the technology and them having fun with the technology. And because of that, they licensed out with the dealer Knox Labs, which is their American affiliate, back in 2019.
Awesome
Back
job,
to you,
guys.
George.
Thank you, Pravina. You did great. No, it was great questions. I'd like to point out, I noticed it, of course, from the bat with Nicholas and Annabelle as well. But David, I love the passion behind you guys. I can tell you truly love what you're pitching. As much of course, you want to make a profit. It's what it's about. You guys truly love what you do. And this is no exception now to our last finalist, Christian Patlin. And I appreciate his patience. It's fitting his last name starts with a P as well. Christian is a second-year student in the MBA program with a concentration in management. He's also learning a Master of Arts in Diplomacy and International Relations with a specialization in Latin America and the Caribbean. Christian will present his business idea, Kevin Alexander Company. He's looking sharp. He's looking ready. Christian, the time is yours, brother. Take it away.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, George. I
hear you. You're great.
Fantastic.
Great shade of blue too. Pirate blue.
That's the only shade of blue that I know. All right, can everyone see my screen okay? Hoping you can.
I see it.
Okay, fantastic. Before I begin, I just want to thank everybody who was involved this evening in putting this event together. Thank you for supporting us future entrepreneurs. Hi, I'm Christian Patlin, the owner of the Kevin Alexander Company, where we make and sell male cosmetic tools designed to instill confidence in men who suffer from skin blemishes, imperfections, and unwanted tattoos. But let me explain how I came up with my company and the products that we make. This handsome young man that you see before you on the screen, that's my younger brother, Kevin. But you see, Kevin was born with a V-shaped birthmark on his forehead. And anytime my brother gets triggered or emotionally kind of just worked up, it becomes more noticeable. And of his experience with his birthmark, he said, people would always ask me, what's that on your forehead? As if my birthmark was a piece of fashion that I chose to wear to school. I stood out like a sore thumb. I saw how my brother was ridiculed, he was bullied, and how girls just didn't want to date him because of his birthmark. And like my brother Kevin, there are millions of young men going through similar types of issues. So naturally, as his brother, I started looking for solutions for him. And what I quickly uncovered was that the cover-up makeup for men is really just women's makeup repackaged as something that a guy could use. If after tonight's presentation, you decide to go to a Walmart, a Walgreens, an Ulta, or a Sephora and ask, hey, can you take me to your men's cover-up section? They're going to laugh at you because they don't sell these items there. So what does that mean? That means that guys have to go online to place an order. And when they place the order and receive it, sometimes it doesn't smell right. It's oily, it's shimmery, or it's glittery. If you were to pull your phones out right now and run a Google search for tattoo cover-up for men or makeup for men, you will generate hundreds of millions of search results. So the question is, where do guys begin? You could start at the most expensive at $118, or you could go with the $12 one. But what about those products in between? How do you know as a guy what's right for you? That is a question that guys have to ask themselves as they endeavor into the world of cosmetics for men. Unfortunately, most of the products, like I said, are not designed for men, as is the case in this review here. Dante here says of the Dermablend tattoo cover-up, that is too wet and too oily, and that it smells like L'Oreal Banana sunscreen. And if there's anything I could promise you this evening, it is that no guy outside of the beach or the swimming pool wants to smell like L'Oreal Banana sunscreen. That I can promise you. So our solution is to design male cosmetic tools that are discreet, environmentally friendly, that look and smell like they were developed for men, and are easy to use. Our products will make men feel confident in themselves. And we'll go to market through our campaign called No One Will Ever Know. And the concept behind this product is to disguise a concealer pen as a regular writing pen that a guy would have on his person, in his backpack, or in his desk drawer. It'll be discreet, stylish, and sustainable. Now you may be asking, how is it going to be sustainable? Let me explain. You see, this is the pen. This is made of an aluminum frame, thereby minimizing waste, plastic waste in landfills. It is also composed of a cartridge system that contains the concealer. And when the two are infused, the individual, all he has to do, let's say he has a job interview at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, only to find that around lunchtime he has a pimple. Does he pop it, or does he pull out his pencil or his pen, dab a little, blend it in, put the cap back on and back on his person? Nobody would ever think he's wearing makeup. Eventually, we would like to sell in retail. These are just some of the product examples that we would like to offer, as well as the skin tones and colors available. Our target market size is about $2.2 billion, with about 168 million prospects composed of Americans with tattoos and Americans with skin issues such as acne. Now, you'll find it interesting that 3 out of 4 individuals who get a tattoo regret it. And what's more is that there's more men than women who regret their tattoos. So our target customer is going to be that male between 19 to 35 who may have a visible tattoo or is suffering from some type of skin imperfection or a blemish. We will generate revenue by selling on our website, as well as selling through big box retailers such as Walmart, Target, Ulta, Sephora, Walgreens. And our marketing strategies will be composed of web blogging, podcasts, social media, and working with influencers such as Alex Costa, Teaching Men's Fashion, and Courtney Ryan. Our financial projections are set such that in 2022, we want to sell 6,000 units of the pen with a break-even point at 2,800 units. So what that means is anything sold, any unit sold above 2,800 is pure profit for our company. Again, I'm Christian Patlin, the CEO of the Kevin Alexander Company, and my hope this evening is that I have inspired you to want to provide a solution to the millions of Kevin Alexanders experiencing the stuff that my brother went through. But you see, the power doesn't rest with me tonight. The power rests with you and your vote and your support for me and my company. Thank you for listening. Any questions?
Christian, fantastic job, sir. The judges' time is now yours. Go ahead with your questions when you want to ask.
All right, I'm going to start now before the guys get into the fray. So, great presentation. I love the story too. So it's fantastic for what you're doing. Do you have most in the fragrance and the scare acne industry? There's some kind of proprietary formula or something they're doing. Do you have that? Is that something that you're looking into with your products?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking into that. As I speak with guys in my network, one of the things that comes up is if they utilize a product like the one I'm offering, how will it smell? Will it smell like what's currently out there? Will it be more manly? And so one of the things that's a big selling point for me is that it has a more manly scent to it. Not a strong one, but a scent that I envision is something like a teak wood smell or like a cedar wood, something that has a little bit of a musky tint or scent to it. So that is something I am pursuing to see what that looks like. And so my mentor and I are looking into these avenues. Yes.
Yep. And what's your plan for manufacturing? Because to get this out to market, because I know you have a direct-to-consumer market, but what's your plan for manufacturing for your supply? Because you said 2,800, right? Is your break even?
Correct. Yep. Yeah. So as of right now, my current structure is set that it is a family-run business. So basically, I will be buying in bulk everything, compiling it, and sending it out. So eventually, as the business does pick up steam and does resonate with consumers, we would want to pivot that to a more appropriate supply chain where we do minimize our costs a little more so than what it is right now, and then further accelerate and streamline the process for our customers who want our products more quickly.
And where are you getting? So when you say you buy in bulk, where are you getting most of your bulk materials from?
Yeah, great question. Great question. So most of the sourcing that I've done thus far is from China. So that is sourcing the manufacturer that provides this pen. Hopefully you all can see it okay. And as well as acquiring the sponge tips that will excrete the solution, thereby allowing the men. So there is a little bit of modification that does have to happen into creating the pen, but it's not much. So that's why for right now, we're going to be piecing everything together, but it all comes from China.
And you're doing that now? Do you have sales now, or maybe I missed this?
Yeah, so great question. Everybody asked me the same thing. You'd be surprised that I came up with this idea just 3 months ago in January. So unfortunately, I don't have sales to back up the excitement that I have for my product and my company. But as of right now, everything that I hear in terms of this being a viable solution for guys, people are asking me, when are you going into business and when can I buy your product? So there's buzz, even just as it is word of mouth right now, but unfortunately, I don't have sales to back it up.
Okay, and then my last question before I turn it to the gentleman is, what is your biggest barrier for entry then, so that other people can't kind of mimic what you're doing? Because obviously there's a big influence of doing men's products, right? And I know Keel and some of the other ones have been going into that market.
Yeah, so definitely I think what's going to set us apart, especially from the beginning, is going to be the uniqueness to the concept that I've designed in terms of the concealer cartridge system, as opposed to what's currently out there where it's a plastic container where the concealer is sealed. So basically, you throw that out and you go buy another one, but you're still wasting plastic. So there's two things that are very important here, which is the sustainability factor to my product, because again, you're not wasting that plastic as it goes into the landfills, and then there's also the fact that our customers are our customers that would be purchasing our products, they're looking for something like this, because you're right, there is a lot of competition, but the problem is most guys have to go through a learning curve to understand what's made for them. And again, as I mentioned, most of what's out there today is makeup for women, just repackaged as something that a guy could use. So a lot of guys are going to be hesitant at first, but I think once they see the uniqueness of my product and the fact that, again, this looks like a regular writing pen. So if you're in a business meeting, you could just pull this out, go to the bathroom, quickly dab a little bit, blend it in, and you're good to go for your next meeting. So I think once I set it up in that way, that this is a realistic product that a guy can use anywhere, I think it's going to resonate pretty well with people.
Great, thank you. All right, I'm going to turn it over to whoever wants to go. It's a toss-up.
I'm gonna steal this one real quick, if you don't mind. So to me, by the way, great presentation, great passion, good homework in 3 months' time to kind of pull this together. My thinking here is, I love the fact that you've thought about the men's discretion component. You got the sustainability part in, but and I say this candidly with the utmost sincerity, it's easily copyable. So you mentioned some influencers, right? I don't know if you have relationships with them. I doubt you do, but I don't know you. Maybe you do. The key thing is two parts. One, if we're investing in you, you're going to go through a learning process, because you just talked about the fact that you need to figure out the men's scent there's some manufacturing components. You at least know the cartridges, but if you're going to have this not be completely oily and whatnot, you're going to have some testing and failures. So the competitive advantage for you is a personality, image, right? The discretion component, and getting that out in front. So because your product in the beginning will probably be on parity in terms of quality until you learn the differences in how you modify the concealer component, right? So my ask here is your thoughts on how you're going to get those influencers, a personality, maybe including yourself, to convince folks to understand this, because then you need to link up after you've reached that traction. Then you need to link up to an even bigger investor to help you scale, because you're not going to be able to do it on the budget, even if we awarded you 100% everything tonight. So I'm interested in hearing that plan, because I do believe the passion is there, the thought process. You'll get there, but someone's going to easily copy it, and I want to know how you're going to get ahead of it.
Exactly. So one of the key important aspects to, number one, if I'm awarded some some monies this evening, is number one, to patent my idea, or at least start the process, because I do think it's crucial to reserve this idea for my company. So that's the first step. That would be the first thing that I would invest money in, because as of right now, as I mentioned, there is a lot of competition in terms of the concealer, but the way they're going about it is different how I want to do it. So it's very important for my company to, number one, do that ASAP. So I think that maybe speaks to your first question. But I think in terms of your second question about influencers and stuff like that, one of the things that's really interesting is I come from Utah, and Utah happens to be a very populous state in terms of the percentage of influencers. So I know a lot of influencers that have a huge following, both in the men's side as well as in the women's side of being an influencer. So, there's a network that I could tap into there, especially since three that come to mind have influencers in the millions, and they've started their own successful businesses, and they're women. So definitely have a network that I could tap into, especially as this idea develops. But again, I do think that number one, the first step is reserving the uniqueness of my product.
Yeah, I will tell you real quick. I now have 67 patents. I know what that issued. So it takes at least 2 years to get the 18 months, and so you're going to need a plan to help hedge. So yeah, making that investment, but it's no good if the patent's not in effect and those 2 years are lost. So no, I'll turn it over to the other judges real quick to ask their questions, and I'll reserve.
Gabito, I think on top of the patent question also is that, with topicals and things like that, just having a wife who's in pharma and a PharmD, you're gonna start getting to the FDA side of things also, because of how it's applied and things like that. So that's gonna be a challenge just when it comes to that as well. And then I actually was listening to an interesting podcast not too long ago with Beyond Meat, and they talked about how they had to kind of break the mold of what meatless was. And again, men with makeup is kind of in that same realm where you have to break that. And you have the story. I think that's a very positive thing about you know your target market, you know who you're going for, and you just got to sell it very well. Because what Beyond Meat did was, rather than trying to go into the vegetarian aisle, they went to the meat aisle. So not necessarily knowing how you're going to market it, but you're going to have to figure out a way to really get ahead of it, where you want to be where the guy stuff is, not where the cosmetic stuff is.
Yeah, let me speak to that if I may. So in my research, I came across statistics that show that the male grooming industry worldwide was about $61 billion in 2018, and it's projected to be $81 billion by 2024. So what that means, and it kind of speaks to what you're saying, is there is this other genre of potential client, customer, consumer for my product. And not to say that my product has to be isolated specifically to the men makeup industry or the idea of it, but really what I want to try to do is to introduce this change. I want to change the notion behind men using makeup. Because one of the unfortunate realities is, as men hear the term makeup for men, it's kind of a turnoff if you've never used it before. So the reason why I label my products male cosmetic tools is because as a guy, we're more inclined to use a tool to fix our cars, to fix something in our home.
Sure. No, I totally get it. I mean, as somebody who's bought Anthony product before and paid way too much for it, I bought it. It sits there. because somebody said, "Oh, let me buy my husband or boyfriend," even going back that long ago, let me buy him some Anthony product, and it still sits there. And
Right.
I don't have a need for it. Again, you're going for a market that actually has a need for it because they're trying to cover up, cosmetics. But just a different mindset. It's just something. It's just a challenge. I think you can overcome, but you definitely have to put a lot of thought and marketing behind.
Yes, thank you.
Abe, you have to unmute yourself.
Thank you. All right. Ready to go. So great presentation, and I love the story. As a marketer, I love the story. Look, plastic surgeons spend $100,000 to $150,000 on these laser boxes to remove tattoos, and they charge upwards of $4,000 to $5,000, right? And that business is brisk, and it's been brisk for the past 10 years. So to me, I think you've got a real opportunity to be able to tell that story and go after that market. And oh, by the way, I am seeing right now TV commercials for men's makeup. It's interesting, right? And they're all over YouTube, obviously, that. But the question is, how are you? It's a tough direct-to-consumer market. How are you going to break through and make this stuff stick? Because going back to what Gabino said, if you got a 2-year runway for a patent, somebody like, these big cosmetic companies, Procter & Gamble even, can come in and say, I like this, and do it. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I think something that will resonate will be the authenticity and the realities of men like my brother Kevin. So I think one of the key important aspects to my marketing initiative is to find those stories of those men like Kevin who were passed up for important opportunities because maybe they had a blemish or something like that. My whole goal is to tell the realistic side of what that is like and how a product that we offer can provide the solution. So to me, I think the marketing strategy is centered around the authenticity factor and the uniqueness of what we can offer to guys. And so I don't know if that necessarily answers your question, but I do feel that as we're honest and true about the fact that guys go through these types of things, I think that'll resonate.
I agree. Like I said, I love the story. I think that you may butt up against the reality though, and the reality is girth and dollars, right?
Right.
And
Yep.
Right, and speed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great story. Love it.
Thanks.
Christian, again, like they said, great story. I love the passion behind it as well. Great job in the presentation. Great questions again. So now the judges, you guys can exit. You can deliberate on the $16,000 up on the line for our 4 finalists. They did a great job. We'll see you guys soon. It's also now time for the Audience Choice Award. It's a $500 to the finalist who, in your opinion, was pitch perfect. Please, let me introduce our graduate student technical expert, Chase Mulligan, who will provide voting directions.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hear you, Chase. You sound great.
Wonderful. Thank you. I will be guiding you through the Audience Choice Award voting process. Here are the steps. Step 1, open the text app, which is usually located at the top right corner of your messaging application. Step 2, create a new chat, usually located at the top right of after you open your text message app. Then enter the phone number, which we will also have on the next slide. The number is 650-600-9016. And step 4, text the 6-digit number of the finalist you choose, which you can view on the next slide. So just to reiterate, text the 6-digit underlined number of the team you choose as the Audience Choice Award. Again, the phone number is seen up in bold, 650-600-9016. And you will enter the 6-digit underlined number seen to the left of the team you choose.
Awesome.
Voting will be opened for the next 5 minutes, and the system will only allow 1 vote per person.
Great. So a reminder, go to your texting app, 650-600-9016. You see the 4 finalists on the screen in front of you. Text in who you want to win. It's $500 for the Audience Choice Award. We'll take the 5-minute break while all you guys vote, and while we await the return of the judges as well to see what they have decided. We'll also tell you the winner of the Audience Choice Award when we return, so stay tuned. The most exciting part of the contest, we had 4 great presentations. We had rounds and rounds of great questions. And now's the time all the finalists, hard work of these students have been waiting for. We'll see you guys in 5 minutes.
Hello, everyone. We are approximately 3 minutes into the voting process. The results will be shown in the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And just to reiterate, you will text the number, the 6-digit number of the code that you see to the left of the team you are voting to the number 650-600-9016. The voting will be closed in the next 30 seconds. Voting has come to its conclusion. We will be presenting the results later. The winner of the Audience and Choice Award will be announced with the finalists awards.
All right, the 5-minute break is coming to an end. We'll wait for the judges to return, and then we will announce who won the Audience Choice Award. We'll give the judges some more time. We're communicating here, people. My apologies. So a few more minutes, and we will announce the Audience Choice Award and also wait for the judges to return as well. So 5-minute break begins right now.
All right, we're back, right?
I think so.
We are back.
Great. So we will start with who won the audience award. Then I will hand it off to the judges, and they will announce the winners, of course, for the $16,000 in total awards. First, for the Audience Choice Award, we'll do a quick drum roll. That doesn't sound as good. I'm sorry about my table. But congratulations to Nicholas Marinelli. He won the Audience Choice Award. That is $500 that will go towards his company. Congrats, Nicholas. Round of applause. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Great job. Yes, Nick, double thumbs up. Yes, brother. Great job by all our finalists. Great job by our judges. I loved listening to the questions and obviously them picking the finalists' brains. Hand it off to them as they will break down who won what tonight.
Great. So yeah, this we're going to go up with our first presenter, right, Nick here, and on extra time, I wanted to give you some on behalf of the judges some quick advice. The great idea. You had a lot of stats. You understand the scouts concept. I think that was the strongest part. I think one of the things you might want to think about is how you keep it a freemium model for your soccer students who want to become pros, to really want to adopt your app because of the hope of scouts finding them. I think that's how you're going to create the draw. And you talk about a lot about the AI. I used to build mobile apps for a business, and I've done it for a number of companies. And so, and I also know about the iPhone you're talking about with the depth perception on the camera, because you have multiple lenses. The Samsung Android phones have the same thing. And so, but the AI component is very complicated. It's not easy to adopt. And no amount of money that we're going to give in this round is going to help you with that just now. So what I want to help you think about is how you iterate on the product to create something very simple and small. So for example, you gave a profile of a player like a right winger and how they can practice shooting. You can actually set up profiles for the camera to be able to track that. And maybe that's the product you sell, and you get more adoption that way. And as you get more traction for students, coaches who are looking for those types of students on those profiles will then start adopting your product as well. And that's how you build momentum. So in any case, in thinking about how we're going to support you, we went ahead and awarded you $7,000 for your app idea. But I would be happy to personally make myself available as a mentor around the mobile app development. I think one of the things you should think about doing is bringing a CTO to be an equity partner with Sweat Equity in here to help you build out the rest, because you definitely got the business component and the sportsmanship side. I think you need a tech person that's also partner with you in the business. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support and the constructive criticism along the way. I don't even know what else to say. I'm so grateful. Thank you for all those that have helped me along the way, family, friends, mentors as well. So thank you all so much, and for putting on an incredible online experience here. So thank you.
Good job, Nicholas.
Congratulations, Nicholas.
Congrats.
All right, so I think next, I think we're who was next in the presentation?
Annabella.
Was it?
It was Annabella. Yeah.
All right. So Annabella, I'm obviously going to provide you with some of the feedback here, and we love the concept. We think that conceptually, the business, the market is there. We think that you still have a little bit of homework to do in terms of the technology that will allow you to scale. And scaling is a big deal in order, one, to have a profitable business, but two, to make sure that you continue to grow along the way. So we think that you can go back and refine that concept a little bit in terms of what you're doing with how to scale, right? You know your market, you know your customers really well. You're a fantastic artist, and the opportunity is right before you. So go get it. And with that, we're awarding you $1,000.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, my mic was off for a minute.
Good job.
Ooh, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Great job. Congrats, Annabella.
Great job, Annabella.
Thank you, guys.
Brian, I think you're up next.
All right, so David, I've had the opportunity to, kind of, watch your presentations over the years. You definitely have a lot of, gusto, and you want to succeed. You're definitely knowledgeable about, what you want to accomplish and the market you want to go into. I think that you do have a viable product. I think it's going to take definitely some more capital to get there. But with that, as Gabino had mentioned earlier, I want to be able to offer my services as well, to help you grow and build this business. And with that, we're going to award you $5,000 today to kind of move forward. And I think that will help you in your mission. And again, as a Seton Hall alum, and for everything I'm thankful for from Stillman, I definitely want to be there for you, and again, help you in any way I can. So congratulations, David. Great job, well earned.
Oh,
Congratulations. All right. So Christian, I think that's me up last, but definitely not least. I want to say that you've done a phenomenal job. I don't know, I think it was impressive. I think you said 2 to 3 months ago that you got here and were able to do this. So I think that's amazing. Your story is really touching of what you want to try to do to help your brother and make sure that we change, I think, even what we think about people and how we look at them. So I think you've got a great concept. It's there. You need a little bit more. I know the patenting and everything there, but I think you're going into a market and getting some influencers who can help you change it from cosmetics to just, looking good kind of products and making that in. I think that's fantastic. So if there's anything I could personally do to help you, I'm not good with the hair care market, but I know some folks who may be happy to do that as well. And we are awarding you $3,000, and we're really excited to see what you do.
This was such a great experience, not only for me, like trying to develop an idea and see where it could go, but I think also just, as a Seton Hall student, just participating in an event like this is just extraordinary to see that we have a strong network of alumni, we have a strong network of current students that are willing to work with one another, and also faculty as well. So for me, I feel like I'm not only a winner this evening by being awarded, $3,000, but also just the experience in general, because it's wonderful to have an institution like Seton Hall that allows us students to develop these ideas and see where they could go. So I'm excited for the future. I can't wait to see where it goes. And don't be surprised if in the next year and a half you see me, in some women's magazine about makeup. It's just going to be me.
Yeah, awesome. we want to see you guys actually use that money and make stuff happen. Don't go on vacation. Like even if it's not enough, we want to see you come back and actually, even if you failed, trust me, I almost went bankrupt 6 times in my current company. So like you can only go up. So that'd be great.
Yeah, too. You have to fight through. Entrepreneurship's a lifestyle. Just fight, pound pavement. You got this. So, all of you guys, great job tonight. The passion's there, the inspiration's there. Just go with what your heart tells you and just do it. So great job, guys.
Yeah. All of you did a phenomenal job.
Great job, guys. Congrats. We'll now bring in Susan Sherrick. Susan.
Hi, everyone. Wow, what a great evening. The entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well at Seton Hall University. But let me just say a few things. Provost Passerini was talking about the importance of entrepreneurship education. And I'd like to say that in the winter session, which you initiated, I taught a course with Professor Jim Hansen called Cosmetics, Entrepreneurs in Cosmetics. It was a 1-credit course, and Christian was part of that course. And that's where he developed that idea. We're also teaching a new course. I'm teaching a new course called Entrepreneurship Lab. It's an accelerator model, and David is part of that course. So all of our efforts are really pushing everything forward. That said, it takes a village. And you were our village. And tonight it was amazing. I want to thank the finalists. They did a wonderful job. I want to thank you judges. You did an awesome job tonight. And George, you were a wonderful MC. You've outdone yourself as a pirate and in Pirate's Pitch. So thank you. I'd also like to thank everyone this evening, our terrific audience, our university officials, our faculty, our administrators, everyone who's made the event so successful. Provost Passerini, Dean Strasser, Mike Supius, and Burke Loxley on our TLT staff who are our producers tonight, Chase Mulligan and Nicole Christian, our student technical experts, alumni entrepreneurs Joe Hughes and Aaron Mew, who served as our semifinalist judge, Karina Agamwal, our student social media specialist, and Mike Highland and Pam Dungy and the rest of our web design team. I can't thank you enough for a very successful evening, and back to you, George.
Thank you so much, Susan. Susan Sherrick, the founding director of the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. I want to thank the finalists, the judges. It was an honor for me to listen to you guys pick their brains. It didn't matter what they were pitching. You guys are experts at it, and I love to see the mentorship you guys are going to lend. Nights like tonight make me proud to be a pirate. I've gone everywhere from Missouri to California, now in Wisconsin, and wherever I am, I'm always proud to be a Seton Hall Pirate. And I'll just bid a little bit of advice or just a quote I always like to lean on for the entrepreneurs. And like Gabino mentioned, he's been bankrupt or almost bankrupt 6 times with his business, but look at him now still leading the way. Hey, there's beauty in failure, because when you fail, that means you're pushing yourself and you're going to get defeated. You only fail when you stop trying. Refuse to accept failure. That's my little piece of advice to you guys and everyone here. It truly was an honor to meet you guys. And like I said, nights like tonight are why I love being a Seton Hall Pirate. It was the best decision I've ever made in my life. Congrats to everybody, and thank you, everybody.